Hey, everybody out there. Welcome to my show, Chatting with Wild Eye. I've got a very special guest here. Um, we won't call him the J word because that J word doesn't fit my vocabulary, but we'll get into that with him. Um, he is the greatest technical wrestler in my eyes, and especially his own eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barry Horowitz, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sean. It's an honor. I've been amped up to do this show. I got my workout in, I got my post meal in, I got my pump on. I'm ready to talk wrestling with Sean and all wrestling fans, especially Mr. Technical's wrestling fans that are so devoted to me.
Well, thank you so much. That really means a lot. Um, Going with what I just said, the J word. I know a lot of people use that word. Can
Mhm.
you explain what you were without using that J word?
I was basically, I call myself super enhancement talent. And the difference is, first of all, the J word. Let's get into that. It's wrestling jargon from back in the day. Some of the stuff is old school, some of it's new. That's a little bit of both. Um, it's kind of a degrading word in my eyes, like calling somebody a bum or a girl a slut or something of that nature. There's better words, but here's the deal. If you break this down, there's got to be a winner and a loser. And the guys that you could see on TV that have the look like they're going to lose, their attire's horrible, their body's horrible, their work's horrible. They
Yeah.
just want to get on TV and bounce around for somebody. Okay, they have those types of guys, and it's 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 better. I come out there and I'm doing the opposite of all that. Bottom line is, I could get just about anybody over. That is my job, and
Yeah.
somebody's got to have it. And if I don't want to do it, I don't have to. They'll get somebody else that'll do it.
Yeah.
So my career could have went anywhere. They could have pushed me harder. They could have did this. They could have did that. But I guess they needed a guy like me because all of a sudden, the past few years, I've been praised for my work and whatnot. I mean, I could go out there and let's just say I'm out there with Undertaker or something, get him over in 2 or 3 minutes. Next night, I'm out there with Bret or Owen Hart, and I'm out there for 20 minutes or 12 minutes on TV or to that. So not everybody could do that.
Yeah.
Not even your best. And believe me, you don't get the guy over, he's going to look like crap, and he won't put asses in the seats. I could destroy anybody's career. I don't care if it's Hogan, Bret Hart, Macho Man, anybody. If I don't take their finishes right, and I look like crap, and it makes them look like crap, and it's so unprofessional. Because if you're worried about your win-loss record in professional wrestling, first of all, you got a problem. Second of all, you're a mark for yourself. Third of all, make a phone call to Dana White in the UFC, get your ass in that octagon, and Brock Lesnar will tune you up in 20 seconds. You'll beg to come back to professional wrestling. I promise.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna question you about that. Where did the pat on the back come from? I love
The
it.
pat on the pat on the back when I amateur wrestled actually at a youth center. I started off wow, I was probably 15, and then I wrestled in junior high and high school and a year at FSU, the
Okay.
greatest college in the world, by the way. But um, I was in a match in high school, and I just I took the guy down and I shot on him, and I took him down really well, and I was just so happy. I jumped up, but I didn't do it like I do it in Madison Square Garden or on TV. It
Okay.
was just something, and I got disqualified, points taken off, but in my mind, I was always there. I'm going to be a pro, and then I kept it in the back pocket until I turned heel, and I said, "This is good. This is different. This matches my persona and my gimmick."
Yeah.
I like the way Chris Candido, Skip, told me this one time. You know what our gimmick is, Barry? We have no gimmick. We wrestle. That's our gimmick.
Well, that's the thing. You wrestled in Fantasyland at the time, if you can call it that, because you had the superhero Hulk Hogan, and you had the Land of Giants,
Yep.
like Andre, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, and all of them.
Sure.
And then, like,
One man gang.
yeah. So I guess having the heel patting himself on the back, even though he doesn't win, still giving himself that credit. It need that at that time you needed that character.
Sure, of course, without a doubt.
So did you enjoy did you enjoy to lose all those titles or I mean all those
Uh,
matches?
you know, it's not that I don't care. I care about my career and making money and progressing in the dream. Not everybody can live their dreams,
Yeah.
but I didn't look at it that way. I knew where I was at. It's not like, oh, I don't care, just do that. No, I want some input on it. I'm not going to dumb myself out of a job, but I've seen guys, you're not doing nothing with me, and this, and that. They leave, and I'm going, what is what? First of all, you're a mark for yourself. You just dumbed yourself out of a good job. Who knows what could progress down the road? So then you go to a small territory, and you get the wins, you get the belts, and you make a third of what you got back upstate. I mean, if that's the way you want to live, because when I go to the bank, they don't say if you win or lost. They say how much you want to deposit, Mr. Horowitz.
True.
Just saying.
Yeah. But I guess that's life because I know some people complain about it. But if you're going to go into it's the same thing with the injuries. I will
Yeah.
say with the head injuries and stuff,
Yep.
you're going into this knowing what you're getting into.
You don't have to. You
No.
don't have to. And here's another thing: bitching about the injuries, bitch about being on the road. I understand lightly, in the car or whatever you're talking amongst your peers, but in the long run, I mean, you're doing what you want to do. Well, what are you bitching about? It's right up there with NFL players signing a big bonus contract and millions, and you're buying a Bentley, a $50 million house, and in the off season, you're caught in a strip bar with a gun at 4 a.m. What are you
Yeah.
doing, bro? What are you doing? I don't get it. I
I
mean,
don't
anybody in the NFL, NBA, hockey, baseball, whatever. What are you guys doing? You don't see
yeah.
Tom Brady or Peyton Manning doing that shit.
No.
You
Oh,
don't
I
see
agree.
you don't see Wayne Gretzky doing that. You don't see Tim Horton doing that. By the
Yeah.
way, he's got the best coffee in Canada.
Well, that's my go-to coffee out here.
Number one,
Yeah.
just like Mr. Technical.
No, it's true though, and but back in those days, did you have much creative control over your matches?
uh, I had some input. Yes,
Yeah,
I did what I was told. I did my job. There's nothing wrong with that. Ron Bass once told me it's easier to go along with the rules than break them.
yeah,
You think about it, but dumbasses don't think that way. They gotta, I don't want to be told what to do and this and that, and oh my god, Jesus, I can't see The Rock saying that in a movie or Tom Cruise. Maybe
yeah,
they do in a proper way. It's called professionalism. It's called accountability.
yeah,
It's called discipline. There's a plethora of words you could use, but they all come out to the same: do your job. In
yeah,
the great words of Bill Belichick.
yeah. I strongly agree. That's what you're there to do is your job. That's what you're getting paid for. If you're gonna
Yep.
sit there and do nothing, you're wasting time for yourself and the company.
Yeah, you're right. And drawing flies in a phone booth.
Yeah, pretty much. And that
Pretty
that
much.
doesn't that doesn't bring money for anything.
No, not at all. If you want to live that way, you want to live out of a flea bag hotel and just do indie shows. I mean, if that's your preference and you got another job, but you got to pay your dues also. I mean,
Yeah,
I was just talking to yesterday my good friend Kevin Kelly, aka Nails.
yeah,
We all know about him.
yeah,
And yeah, he's paid his dues, sleeping in cars. Bob Backlund has told me that. I've slept in cars too. I mean, not permanently, but if you pay your dues, I'm a big country music fan, Sean,
yeah.
and there's two songs that relate to my situation. I'm sure others too. If you listen to the words properly of The Dance by Garth Brooks,
Yeah.
or The Climb by Miley Cyrus. The bottom line is what they're saying, Sean, in between all those words, you got to pay
Yeah.
your friggin' dues. You
Yeah.
got to pay your dues. Otherwise, you wind up like some of these guys with face paint running to the ring, blowing up, shaking the top rope. Music stops, and so does their fucking match.
Yeah. It doesn't bring in the crowd. Nobody wants to see that.
Hell no. They want to see when they're at ringside or in the cheap seat, Sean, and I do a Northern Light suplex or a salto or a sunset flipper or inside cradle or a magnificent drop kick, they're going, this guy's an artist.
Yeah.
If they see punch, kick, rake eyes, and tell the people to shut up, well, any bum could do that behind Tim Hortons restaurant in friggin' Ottawa.
Well, they do that a lot out here. You go downtown, you'll see that quite a bit.
You'll see it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guys look like crap, and they're it's too much, Sean. I'm into professionalism. When I watch my country music, or when I watch the Olympics, or when I watch NFL, when I watch NCAA wrestling, I want to see the finest artist. I don't want to see some jabron.
Yeah. So I guess you don't watch nowadays then.
I
Oh,
do.
you do?
I watch wrestling matches. I mean, the girls have come up a long way, and obviously they're being trained by men. I'm sure women too that are training them. But I want to see good action, good high spots. I want to see submissions. I want to see you go for that hold. I don't want to see death-defying finishes, spike pile drivers off the top. You did it 2 or 3 times. You super kicked me in the face 13 times, and then you beat me with a backslide.
Yeah.
It's psychology. It doesn't make sense. Once in a while it does, but for the most part, psychology reasons, old school or new school is good, but old school still prevails. I mean, you'll see things in the Olympics. You'll see things in NFL football that were done 30 years ago. They're doing them today. Why would you change them? Now you could entice, you could enlighten them, and you could make them go from good to great or deluxe. But at the end of the day, it's still the same shit.
Yeah. But I also think the fans are to blame for that because they want more, more, more. They want
They
them
want
to.
more. Yeah. We control the fans. They don't control us. They don't call my match. And not everything needs to be done outside, because the only
Yeah.
people that really see the outside shenanigans, it's good every now and then. It's good for TV, but the only people that see it at the house shows is ringside. The
Yeah.
cheap seats don't see that. They're going like this. What the hell happened down there?
Yeah,
They're
I've been
pissed.
there. I've been there.
Yep.
That's why I prefer the days when you were wrestling in the 80s and the 90s and stuff, because
I think a lot of people do.
the Attitude Era wasn't a fantasy land. Like don't get me wrong, I loved the 80s wrestling because I grew
Sure.
up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a huge Hulk Hogan fan, and my favorite enhancer talent was you, or enhancement
Oh,
talent was you. I loved Iron Mike Sharp as well. Watching you
yes.
guys wrestle Hogan and all of them, that
Mike
was
Iron Mike Sharp was a class act. I liked him. It's a shame he passed. I've traveled with him here and there. He mostly traveled alone. I loved his discipline of his isometric workouts. He used to hit the weights, and like Bob Backlund, he stopped it and he did a lot of isometric work, a lot of Hindu squats, a lot of push-ups, a lot of dips,
yeah.
neck bridges, cardio, chin-ups. So I got to respect that. And Mike was a good guy, never a troublemaker. I liked Mike Sharp a lot.
Yeah, actually, I heard Hulk Hogan said he really enjoyed wrestling with him as well.
Oh, cool.
Which
I didn't know that.
to
Wow,
me kind of
that's awesome. He deserves the praise.
yeah, but at the same time it surprised me because you know how Hogan is.
I
Crazy.
actually, I don't, I've never had a problem with the Hulkster at all. I really
Yeah.
haven't. Always got along with him. Again, maybe we're both from the same area, Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
I've really never had a problem with him. I've traveled with him a few times on private planes when we used to do back in the day. Vince would get Lear jets, one for the heels, one for the baby faces, double shot weekend. Sean,
Wow.
I'd wrestle well, let's see, one, two, three, 4 times in 2 days.
Wow.
Afternoon shot, night shot, Saturday, then do it again Sunday. 4 times, 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, private planes. Get on there. I remember one time Hulk was sitting across from me, and then Ron Bass. I forgot who else was on the plane. It didn't hold many people, and we had to get to the next town. But it was pretty cool. He only did them a couple times a year. I
Yeah.
doubt if they don't do that no more.
No, they don't. You're very
But it was
lucky if
pretty
you
cool.
get.
But I've always got along with Hulkster, and he's complimented my work. He's complimented me.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with him. Nothing, nothing, zero.
The fact that kayfabe died, the internet, it just totally killed him. Because for me, I'm still a Hulk Hogan fan, based on
Yeah,
what he had said or what he had done, like the divorce. We didn't need to know all that stuff. None of that
yeah.
stuff.
Well, when you're in the spotlight like he is, which is much more than me or anybody else, I
Yeah,
mean, he's borderline, Hollywood status. They're going to jump on that. That's their job, the media. They love
yeah,
that. They love that.
yeah. But for me, he's still that superhero. Still
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like I was a little disappointed when they took him out of the Hall of Fame because
Ha,
Hulk Hogan is not Terry Bollea, and Terry Bollea himself said the same thing. They're two
yeah,
different
that,
people.
that was a bunch of crap. I can understand people get taken out of the Hall of Fame. They got arrested or killed somebody, this, and that. But come on now. What's with the pissing contest? Come on.
Yeah,
It's a bunch of crap. It's shenanigans that shouldn't be tolerated. Some of the jokes and the ribs in the wrestling business, I mean, are absurd. Actually, they're just grow up, man.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Would you ever accept if they asked you to go into the Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah, I would. I don't see that happening because that makes too much sense. Why do we want to do that when you could bring Kid Rock in there or Bob Euchre or somebody else that has nothing to do
Donald
with pro
Trump.
wrestling? I thought, I really did. I know Vince Sr. was very he loved loyalty, and I know Vince Jr. loves loyalty too, but I was very loyal to him, and I just thought they would take care of me a little bit better because I was pursuing a coaching job at the Performance Center, but half of those people I could outwork or I could train them. Not
Yeah,
saying all of them, and I'm just calling it like it is, but I can understand, um, Sean, if I was out of shape or I failed drug tests, I was late, I had crappy matches, I wasn't loyal to the company, and I know a lot of people have, but I think I was a little bit more so. And you don't have to because I did work for you and I was honored and I love what I did. I think you could have took care of me. I mean, I'm not going to mention names. I don't feel like it, and I
yeah.
don't feel like putting them over. But there's guys that have worked there 30 years that can't lace my boots.
Huh?
30 years. Let me tell you something. And if you're let go after 30 years and you're bitching, you're retarded because you should be a multimillionaire.
Yeah, I agree with all, especially some of these former champions that are just been recently released, and the fans are crying about it. Well, they've got money; they can go somewhere else,
Right.
take some time off.
And if you don't have money, Sean, what did you do for well, you shouldn't have $1,000 bar tab at 4 in the morning. You should be in bed getting ready for your job the next day. It is a
Yeah.
job,
Well,
literally.
now it's video games and
Mhm.
uh, hair products and all that
Sure.
stuff that they're
I mean,
buying. Suits.
anything that I'm saying to you, I'm legitimately bitching. That's what it is. It's not whining or
Yeah.
you didn't do this with me and you didn't do that. No, no. Some of these guys do that. And I go, really? Are you kidding me? Dude, you made a ton of money. You made in one WrestleMania what I made for the whole year. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then some of these guys can't even work or they break the rules or whatever. I'm not stooging on anybody. I'm calling it like it is because it all depends who you are, the pecking order. Like if Barry Horowitz says it, oh, let's rib him and let's do this and let's, make an example. Well, first
Yeah.
of all, First of all, that shit don't fly with me no more. I'm older. I'm not under contract. These people could go, you know what I'm saying? Um, they can kiss my ass. I don't care. But if somebody like Hulk Hogan or Don Cena or Roman Reigns, somebody, oh no, you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. See, it's spot picking. That's
Yeah,
what it's called. They pick a spot. A squirrel knows what tree to climb for the nuts.
yeah. And
So
they're the ones that have five moves compared to your how many submission holds?
I can't count that high.
Well, that's the thing. Like I talked to Bill Anderson a while back, and he said,
Who
if
was
you
that?
Bill Anderson, he used to wrestle for WWF back in the 80s.
Bill,
He,
Bill Anderson?
yeah, big Bill
Yes,
Anderson.
from California.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know Bill. Billy.
yeah. And I was talking to him about it, and he said, "Do you think, honestly, watch WWE? Do you think that these guys are as good as they show when they're only showing five moves? They could
Yeah,
do so many moves, but they're only allowed to do the five moves." And the fans sit there and put down that person, like John Cena, who people should have the most respect for, because look at what he does for his people or his fans, which
sure.
you're not allowed to call them fans, but they're fans. I'm a fan, but they put down the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the problem is when you're not in the wrestling business and you think you know things, you
Yeah,
don't. You haven't walked in. I love football, but I'm not going to tell Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Joe Montana what to do. I
yeah,
mean, I know of it, but they've been in it. Just like they can't tell me about wrestling.
yeah,
There's no way, and they wouldn't. They're true
yeah.
professionals.
But if you think about it at the same time, those five moves that they do make them look like that superhero. Because you can be kicking Hogan's ass from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning to the end, do your move, he hulks up. He's being that superhero, does his five moves to you, one, two, three. Everybody's going nuts. They all love it.
Sure.
But now it's your special move. Every single person's going to kick out of it, no matter how small,
Yeah,
how big you are, which I think it's wrong.
I do too. Yeah, it has changed. The fans need to be re-educated, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was asking you about the creative control over your big wrestling matches. Is there a difference in independent compared to WWE or WCW where you have more control?
Yeah, independent would be basically I would get in there and they're pretty respectful. I did a little just a little thing. I went out and managed a group out in Baltimore. I forgot the name of the company, Maryland Championship, MCW,
Yeah,
Maryland Championship Wrestling, and they asked me my opinion, and we see when you got a bunch of guys, some were green and some were. Uh, I was the veteran, and then there was some guys that were working 10 years, maybe 15. So we we mesh.
yeah,
That's what you want to do. But if it's in WWE and they just not too much, I don't know what they do now, but they just mostly have the finish, and then you know what not to do. If they tell you not to go outside, you don't go outside, and just once again just follow the rules, do what you're told.
yeah. Well, that's what I heard backstage now. Instead of partying it up, they sit there and they play their video games or they interact with their fans online and everything. So,
Yeah, I I'm not into that. When I hit that building, I what I do. My rule of thumb is, it's go time. I put my stuff down. I get a good spot in the dressing room. I get dressed early. I start warming up. I start stretching. I go over my match, walk around the building, stuff like that. That's about it. I mean, it's worked for me,
yeah,
and talk to a few people. But once it's bell time, that bell rings. I'm watching the matches, and I'm getting my game face on. It's like
yeah,
almost a part shoot to me, but it's not. But you want to treat it that way. You want to You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. You want to keep it right in the middle. And to keep it in the middle is very hard. You got to work hard physically and mentally. And I remember Bob Backlund telling me that same statement.
Yeah.
Keep it in the middle.
Yeah,
So,
he'd be one to listen to because he's got a lot of
oh yeah,
knowledge. One of
sure,
the greatest, I think.
sure.
But you were trained by one of the best too, technical. Boris.
I was trained by the best, the Malenkos. I emphasize the S at the end of Malenkos, not
Yeah.
Malenko, but Professor Boris Malenko, of course, and of course Joe Malenko, Dean Malenko, the best. I was also trained, not totally, but Karl Gotch was there, Karl von Stronheim, and yeah, paid my dues for 18 months, 3 times a week, 3 hours a night after a part-time job and lifting. And that darn building was 104 in the summertime in Florida and about 40 degrees in the winter.
Oh.
And all there was a small bathroom, bring your own water. We were starting off on judo mats, taking backdrops and getting slammed and no ring ropes, just learning the basics. And then we finally graduated to a ring at a mattress factory not too far from Raymond James Stadium, where I come from, by the way. It's called Champa Bay.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd let you know that. But anyway, yeah, it was a 18-foot ring or 20 and then a 16. And yeah, 18 months of that, never missed a workout. And
Wow.
I mean, we'd warm up for at least an hour. And then you'd start learning holds and headlocks. It wasn't all about getting thrown out of the ring and promos and stuff. It was called building a foundation and paying your dues.
Yeah.
All the other stuff comes when you hit the road and travel and you're in the car or a plane or a rent a car and traveling with veterans like Ric Flair, Bob Orton Jr., Don Morocco, Mike Graham, Rufus R. Jones, Jimmy Valiant, Johnny Weaver. I can go on and on with these people. Keep your
Yeah.
mouth shut in the back seat and listen to the stories, listen how to work, watch film, stay to the end of the matches, watch every single match. I mean, and take it serious and absorb it like a sponge. Got to hit the gym. You don't have to get jacked up, synthetically, but you need to look like a pro wrestler and, stay out of trouble. And it darn worked for me. I mean, that's the way you do it. And so you're on the road. And if you work every night, somebody different, you get polished, different high spots, different things you'll learn. And you're talking to people like Youngblood and Steamboat and stuff like
Yeah.
that and working with them as a healer, baby. And you'll learn. You have to. If you don't care and you're not paying attention and you don't want to hone your craft. You don't
Yeah.
want to polish that craft. You don't want to perfect it. I don't want to just be a good wrestler. I want to be a great wrestler. And I emphasize wrestler, technical wrestler. That's my forte. Just like a hardcore guy is into hardcore, or a tag team is into tag team, or the giant's into the giant. To each his own. I'm not knocking any of it.
Yeah.
Just do it right if you're going to do it.
So okay, that goes the difference between wrestler and actor. You consider yourself a wrestler.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of it's sports entertainment when it comes at the end of the day, Sean.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's taking away from the action that you do, I think, putting in the acting part. It's almost, I know it's all scripted, and I know that I hope everybody who's watching knows that there is a script and you're not really an asshole that likes to pat himself on the back and all that. But um, you know what I mean, right? Like,
I know exactly what you mean. Basically, a good pro wrestler, a good pro wrestling match, if it's too technical, it's almost boring. So
yeah,
what you have to do is you got to mix some amateur, some pro moves, a little bit of pizzazz, a little
yeah,
bit of glitter, a little bit of promo. Nothing too outlandish unless they want you to, and it does well. If you do that, you got a pretty good match.
yeah.
It could be pretty darn good.
Oh,
Think about it in pro terms.
we can go with comparing. I don't know if you were into the Glow wrestling back in the 80s, where it was all women and stuff. Um, which that was more acting because they
Yes,
had the
yeah,
skits where back in your guys' time it was more wrestling than anything. Like you
sure,
had
sure.
the interviews, but very little, right?
I agree with that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Glow was, I think, owned by Sylvester Stallone's mother.
Yeah,
And I was at a nappy convention, which that is a nappy convention is the one I was at. I was at a couple of them in California and Dallas, Texas. They go to a civic center that's huge, like as big as Madison Square Garden, if not bigger, or the
yeah.
Montreal Center or Toronto, the Maple Leaf Gardens, and they fill it with TV projects. So
Okay.
the project for me was I flew into Dallas. They set up a ring. I wrestled, I think, Coco Beware or Paul Roma, and it's showing the TV. It's showing your product. So
Yeah.
there was other people there with talk shows and country music shows and pilots and stuff like that. So yeah, I did that, and it was pretty cool. So it was that was called a nappy convention, and it
Yeah.
was I was honored to be picked for that, and it was pretty cool because I mean I literally flew in, did one match, and that was it. Walked around a little bit and checked things out, and got some different souvenirs that I was interested in, and fly back home. At the time, I was living in Nashville,
Yeah.
Tennessee, Music City, USA.
Huh. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's also pretty cool that I mentioned a segue to Music City, USA. Not too many people know that Barry Horowitz was in a #1 country music video, Song of the Year, Video of the Year on CMT, 1994 Pickup Man by Joe Diffie. And I'm in there 4 times.
Yeah, you were telling me that when you were talking to me on the phone. Yeah, I thought that
Yeah,
was
pretty
amazing.
cool because not too many people know it. And it's a great song. I mean, I'm into country music. It was a good video. And it was a lot of fun doing that. Something different to experience.
Yeah. Did you act in anything else? Like
I'm
an
sorry.
extra? Did you do any extra in like movies or anything?
No, I tried for some. One was I was supposed to be in another video, but I looked too much like the lead singer. I don't think the lead singer liked that. So he's probably a diva or some prima donna. Where's he now and where am I? I don't
Yeah.
even I don't know what they're doing now, but anyway, that's neither here or there. And then I tried out to read a part for a bodyguard. It was a movie or something, and Tanya Tucker was in it. And I don't know what happened with that because what was bad about it, I didn't have time to study. I actually got off the plane from coming from the road, got in my car and drove to this building and had to read the part in my car and try to pull this off in within a half hour. Ha!
Wow.
It hard. I mean, yeah, it didn't work right. It was supposed to be a movie on PBS.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's okay. At least
Wow.
I try for it and stuff like that. And I did do a commercial with Hakushi for Karate Fighters for Hasbro. So that was fun.
I think I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I
wow.
do. Um, let's go way back to the best year. I think the best year because 1979. You got to remember that year, your debut into
Yep.
wrestling. 1979 was a good year for me because that's the year I was born. So your
Wow.
career is as old as
Hey,
I am.
let me ask you something, Sean. You were born in 79.
Yeah,
If you knew you were going to live this long, would you have taken better care of yourself?
probably.
Okay. Just a simple question. I
Um.
stole I stole that joke from Dutch Mantel.
Oh, okay. I would
I
rather
shouldn't even
been.
I shouldn't even use his name. He never puts me over.
Nah, don't matter. You're a nicer
Okay.
guy, bigger
Yeah,
guy.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, give yourself a pat on the back. See.
Okay. Thanks. Felt good.
No, I don't know. I never got into the bad stuff. I was pushed away from the drugs and all that because my dad had a very horrible life when he was young, so he kind of took me away from it.
Good.
My life as a child was watching you guys. Like
That's good.
from
Nothing wrong with that.
5 years old to now, like I still like you guys helped raise me. And that's the way I look at it, right? So, but tell me about the debut. How was that?
Well,
Nerve
I
wracking?
started basically actually it was 79 to late 80 or early 80s. I was just working independent wrestling in Florida, Sunbelt Wrestling. I would go wherever Malenko would get us booked. I
Yeah.
wrestled in bars, paid my dues there, boxing bars where they had boxing, wrestling, how they do midget wrestling and mud wrestling. I think they still do that sometimes in some of these redneck bars or honky tonk bars, probably in Texas or whatever, but
Hmm.
or in Nashville, and started that way. And basically, when I was ready to leave Malenko's, he gave me a sheet of paper that had everybody's major number. Stu Hart was on there, Don
Oh,
Owens from Portland, Carlos Colon from Puerto Rico, uh, Jimmy Crockett Jr. for Mid Atlantic, North Carolina, and Gorilla Monsoon's number was on there. I drove. I don't know what made me pick that state, but I just went to New Jersey and I had some money saved. I rented a house on the beach, about a block from the beach. At that time, it was pretty inexpensive. And I called Monsoon from a payphone in a phone booth, old school phone booth at his
yeah.
house when that's when you could do that. I don't know if his wife answered or he answered. And I basically bullshitted my way. I told him I was working 2 years, which I wasn't. I thought I was probably getting one over on the great Gorilla Monsoon, but I probably wasn't. All he told me was to show up at Allentown, Pennsylvania. They film every 3 weeks there on Tuesday and Wednesday, Hamburg, which was about an hour away or a little bit more. And I would do TVs. I'd wrestle probably in 2 days, 6 times. And I guess they liked me because I walked in that locker room. I was overwhelmed. I mean, Mr.
Yeah.
Fuji, Saito, Snuka, Orton Jr., Adrian Adonis, Jesse Ventura, Don Morocco, uh, uh, God, Johnny Rods, Jose Estrada, uh, the Samoans, Blackjack Mulligan.
Wow.
I mean, there was like 50 guys back there. But I did what I was told, like Malenko, just shook everybody's hand and said, "Hey, my name is Barry Hart. Barry Hart. Hey, Barry Hart, how you doing?" And just did what I was told, and finally I get some bonuses. I was getting some house shows. It
Wow.
was pretty cool. And then I finally went up to Vince Sr. after about a year and said, "I'm not going to learn anymore just doing TVs. I need to get on the road." I was supposed to go to Portland via Jimmy Snuka, but Vince Sr. got me booked in Crockett Promotions in Mid Atlantic,
Oh,
Charlotte, North
wow.
Carolina. What a great step, because I was there on the road in a car or a plane 6 days a week, traveling with Rufus R. Jones and Sonny Fargo and Vinny Valentino and uh, who else? Handsome Jimmy Valiant, and would travel with them, and Steamboat and Youngblood, also Mike Rotundo.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned to get polished. It really helped when you're working 6 nights a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it really did help a lot. That I had my foundation, but now I needed the next room in the house, if you will, to be
Yeah.
built.
But all those guys you named too, a lot of them must have helped you on the way
I
as
think
well.
they helped me verbally and physically.
Yeah.
Johnny Weaver, also Roddy Piper, Flair. Uh, just listen to them, no matter what they said. Just listen to them. And Jake the Snake Roberts helped me, and yeah,
Wow.
I got a lot of help because I think everybody, these guys that helped me knew I needed help, and I wanted to help. I
Yeah.
wanted that help. I need to progress in my profession.
Wow.
I just didn't want to be some average guy you know.
Yeah. Was there any of them that stood out the most for you?
It's hard to say. There was Jimmy Valiant and Rufus R. Jones were so kind and polite to me. Um, Youngblood was very good with me. Jake was awesome. Um, Wahoo McDaniels, Michael P.S. Hayes. I think they were all pretty, they were all really cool people.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It is.
Hulk Hogan wasn't around in that time.
He wasn't there. No, not at that time in that area. I was actually at the first Starcade,
Really?
Greensboro, North Carolina, Greensboro Coliseum. I was one of the babyface that ran out to the ring to congratulate. I forgot the world title that night. I think it was Race and Flair or something of that nature. Uh, and it was in 1983, the first Starcade.
Okay.
I
Wow.
was, I was a part of that. I know Bugsy McGraw was on that card, and Youngblood Steamboat, Flair, of course, Harley Race, of course. Um, God, Don Kernodle, Sergeant Slaughter. Um, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. Lots. That was a friggin' big show.
Yeah. Ever get with Andre?
I'm sorry.
Ever meet Andre?
Oh, many times.
Yeah.
Many times. Very quiet. Liked to play his cards with Arnold Skolin, and he didn't like troublemakers or people that didn't respect him. He just wouldn't talk to you, or he'd let you know. Or if you got smart with him in the ring, he'd beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that
I
one.
mean, I'd like to tell you to ask Bam Bam or John Studd or the Warrior or any of these other guys, but I think they've all passed away, so you can't ask them.
Yeah, Macho Man was one of them too.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah,
Because of the baby oil came into the dressing.
that's it. Too much oil.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you gotta
he
listen. You
he
gotta
whipped
listen
him.
to the Andre the Boss.
Yeah, it's the respect. That's something the Undertaker got after too.
Yeah,
And he took the role of Andre's boss,
sure. Yeah.
which that's a big pair of shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, definitely. He did it well.
What was it like to wrestle with Macho? Did you have a match against Macho Man?
I've wrestled Macho maybe, believe it or not, I think I've only wrestled him once, and it was in Huntsville, Alabama on TV. And I liked the match. I
Yeah.
thought it was good.
He didn't get rough or
Nope.
no?
Nope.
Yeah, because I heard a lot of people say he used to get a little. If he didn't like what you were doing, he'd smack you across the face. He didn't care.
Well, there'd been a problem if he did that. I mean, I don't deserve that. And
Have you
no,
ever had an issue like that with somebody?
I'd have to give a receipt.
Have you ever had that issue with somebody in the ring? Too stiff?
Some guys, if they're trying to be tough guys and stiff, I don't put it over because
Okay.
Dr. Death Steve Williams once told me wrestling isn't ballet. Everybody could be a pro wrestler if it was ballet.
Yeah.
Simple, easy, big money. Um, if somebody's getting stiff with me on purpose, I'm gonna have to get stiff with them back. I think it's only happened. Um, Tiger Conway Jr. had a problem putting me over, so he had to get stiff with me. As far as I've worked with Dynamite where he's stiff, that's
Yeah.
just him from Japan. I don't have a problem with that. Stan Hansen stiff. I guess he can't see me. I don't know. Um, uh, what you call it? Some guys, Vader and stuff. That's a clumsy stiff. If you've got a controlled stiffness, there's nothing wrong with that. When
Yeah.
you're clumsy, you can hurt somebody. I mean, Undertaker's been hurt. Ask him. Mabel. I think that Goldberg darn put Bret Hart out. That's
Yeah, he did
wrong.
damage, major
Yeah,
damage to his life.
you don't even want to bring that up in front of Bret Hart.
No, no, no.
He actually hates him.
Yeah, I don't blame him to be honest with you. I look at like I don't know if you watched it recently, but seeing Goldberg come in for the title, I think that's totally wrong. He's injured himself. He almost killed Undertaker.
Yep. What I don't get is think about what I'm saying. You must be really desperate. SummerSlam, he hasn't been around. He's not the Goldberg he used to be. He's in decent shape. He's not like he used to. I think he's in his 50s. He's been hurting people.
Yeah,
What you're telling me is, you know what you're using? The name.
from football.
Because I could be wrong, but I think he's going after Bobby Lashley. That
Yeah.
match is going to be short, and Lashley's going to go over.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's guaranteed.
Uh, I got nothing against Goldberg. I mean, I'd be thanking my lucky stars to Eric Bischoff every day, for creating him and training him at the power plant and putting that next gimmick on him in WCW. I've
Yeah,
worked with him twice. He was fine. He was a safe stiff.
yeah,
Um, when you get that clumsy stiff like that, JBL and thinks it's funny, I don't have
yeah.
use for people like that.
No, I don't care for that. It
No.
He damaged somebody's life. Like this, he caused the stroke in Bret Hart and everything. Like
I forgot what he did to Undertaker. I think he dropped him on his head or neck.
I think it was the top of his head because
Yeah,
what nobody's realizing, everybody keeps saying that the concussion came from when he hit his head. It was when he headbutted the door.
right. He
If
had a
you heard
concussion on the
it,
way to the ring.
yeah, if you heard the bang, you didn't hear his growl, you heard, ah!
Why would you do that? Why? See, now I'm glad you brought that up, Sean. That makes about as much sense as a one-legged fireman in a submarine kicking down a screen door.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense. But why would you do that when you could run to the ring and get the same pop? Why would you have Owen Hart come from the ceiling when the Blue Blazer could run in his ruffles and get the same pop?
yeah,
You only need to come to the ceiling when you can't work and you don't have a gimmick. There's only two exceptions, and that's Shawn Michaels and Sting. It
yeah,
just added to their gimmick. But anybody else, it's covering up their work because they can't friggin' work.
exactly. That's the way I look at it. I thought it was ridiculous. What was it like working for WCW?
Not bad, not
Yeah.
bad at all. I got paid pretty decent for not wrestling much. I mean, I started on Nitros and Thunders, and then Saturday nights. I did a Halloween Havoc, and then all of a sudden it was just Saturday nights, but I was still paid the same.
Yeah.
So it was pretty
Well,
cool. I wish it lasted longer. It was pretty cool. I think the structure in WWF was better.
yeah. What made you
Yeah.
leave the first time? Not if you don't want to answer, it's
Well,
the first leaving WWE the first or WWF the
well, I
first
had
time.
a severe neck injury. I was out 11 months.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was, and again, they didn't take me back. We signed Black Bart and we signed Pez Watley, and you could fit me in, bro. I broke my neck for this company, literally.
Yeah.
But there you go again. So I went to WCW.
Was it?
And I wrestled the indie circuit and did pretty well on that.
Yeah. The indie circuit again is totally different though, because you can do more moves
Yeah.
and.
Well, what I don't like is there's no rules. You need
Oh,
to show
okay.
up on time and need to act like you're working for a big company because it if you act like a carnival or a flea market, you'll become that. And
Yeah.
that's what people see and compare you. Well, these are jabrones and the WWF's the big shots.
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's again accountability, professionalism, and maturity.
Yeah. But then again, you get some like Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan's better on the independent circuit because he's got all these moves that he can do that WWE won't allow him to do on the show, sort of
Yeah,
thing. And
yeah, I know what you're saying.
everybody
I don't
puts,
know how the structure of the locker room is, or the war room, or the powers to be, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know about that, so I can't speculate or give a comment or assume anything because I
yeah.
don't know. Technically, I technically don't know.
Well, there you go, the most technical person. No, because like I watch the same thing watching AEW, and I see some of these guys that are doing the flying and the acrobats. I think if you look at it, that's more of an independent thing, is it not?
Well, I'll tell you, I like their production. I like the ring. The announcing team is the best in the business. There's no
Yeah,
better. No better. I friggin' love the commentating. I love when they break it down. And if there's a mistake, they know how to cover it up. And they're like a well read novel. It's perfect from first page to the last page.
yeah,
A lot of tag teams, but that's their company. A lot of outside work. I'm not the booker or promoter. I don't agree with it. It's my opinion. Um, and sometimes repetitiveness needs to be corrected if you want to keep things different and fresh. As far as talent, shoot, on a scale of 1 to 10, 98% could work.
Yeah.
I mean, look good. The commenting. Now they're going back to the house shows. Yeah, it's a shame Barry Horowitz can't be there. It's I know some of the trainers, and I mean I've worked with Jerry Lynn in Global. He dropped the light heavyweight title to me, and as far as Billy Gunn goes, I had his tryout match in White Plains, New York. Him and Bart Gunn against me and Reno Riggins. I guess I'm not in that circle or that clique.
Yeah.
Because for one is I'm still in shape. A lot of people ask me if I'm still wrestling, and I'm no, but I mean I train 6 days a week, and I've gotten bigger on purpose because I couldn't back in the day because you don't have the time, and I didn't want to carry that kind of weight
Yeah.
back then. And I know everybody there but Cody and Tony Khan. So I guess all I have to do is somebody could speak up for me. Chris Jericho knows me. A lot of people know me, but you got to understand, in the wrestling business, they don't want you to take their spot.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take nobody's spot. I'm just trying to add a little bit of flavor to the stew. I don't want to eat the stew. I don't want to sell it. I just want to help prepare it.
Yeah.
And, I guess, guys, because if you break it down and try to think about it, think about some guys that never did nothing in this business, never worked for Vince, and they're in their performance center. Reno. All I know is that he did blade jobs for Dusty in ECW. Not just being honest. I mean, and I think the head trainer is Matt Bloom, I think. And let's see, it was Tennessee and Prince Albert, and that failed in a year. Well, I guess maybe I need to be, I don't know. Head off and start over.
Well, it could be Shawn Michaels being afraid too.
Now, Shawn Michaels deserves to. I mean, he's ahead. He does well there, and he deserves it. And I'm sure there's some other guys. I don't know everybody there. I'm not knocking. I'm just sometimes I don't understand when I hear about some guy that's only been in the business for a cup of coffee, and I'm at home and you're there. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Now, if I didn't have the mechanics, wasn't in shape, didn't have a good attitude, show up on time, check all the boxes, if you will, Sean. What's wrong with that picture? It's called the politics of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Take it or leave it.
And who takes the most bumps, though? If you actually think about it, the enhancement, the word not the J word. You know what I mean? Like you guys are the ones that lose. You guys take the bigger bumps because you guys are getting it from the main event wrestler.
Yeah. I hear you.
What is your intake about changing these words where you're not a wrestler, you're a sports entertainer? We're not fans, we're WWE Universe.
You know what? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? The money's the same. Everything's the same. If you're going to see, if a lot of people would mind their own business and shut their mouth, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not being a coward. It's being smart. Believe me, these people you see in the news, the protesting, I'm not going to get on a political platform here, but some of the things they're doing because they want to show we're not being pushed around and they're this and that. Listen, I've been to third world countries. Go there.
Yeah.
They'll finish you in the street and you'll never be seen or heard. And you'll wish you came back. You wish you were back in the States eating McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I'll never understand that. It's not there's a difference between being a coward and being accountable. Again, watching your P's and Q's. You know what I mean? I'll never understand some of the logic or even, what's the word? Not stupid, but
not idiotic.
Word for it. What's ignorant? Thank you very much. I was just telling somebody about that word at the gym today. So yeah. See, it's real simple. Let me break this down real easy. Some of the veterans don't notice, but I think the good veteran, Bob Backlund and, like I said, Johnny Rods and Don Morocco and Orton Jr. and the Grahams and Otto Wantz and everybody else.
Yeah.
If you just worry about one thing, two things: have fun and get the match over. And when I mean get the match over, I don't mean get it over in 2 minutes and get back to the locker room. I mean get the match over. So if I'm wrestling Owen Hart, it's get Barry over, get Owen over, get the referee over, get the fans involved.
Yeah.
If you do that, you got the complete story told. If you're worried about you just shining and don't care about Owen or the ref, that's selfish, and it's going to be a shithole match.
Yeah.
Unless you're told by the man, do this in 10 seconds, do this in 20, get yourself over. Don't worry about it. Okay? Because if you don't, you're going to get ixnayed and they'll get somebody else that'll want to do it. And
Yeah.
will do it.
Speaking of the man, what was the difference working with Senior compared to Vince Jr.?
Well, the only time I seen Senior is at TV, and Vince is just more updated. Vince Senior was pretty quiet and stayed in the office. I didn't get to talk to him that much. I think I've talked to him once or twice. I've always greeted him in respect, and the man's given me a job and contract. And the same with Junior.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not I'm not in that main event circle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not his major money maker, which I don't agree with that. I think everybody should be treated, a little bit equal. And you got your other guys, you could treat them a little bit more, but don't make it obvious.
Yeah. Well, there's so much more to each of you guys that is showing. And that to me, I guess that's why I like AEW
Yeah.
because they try. I know every wrestling is going to do something you're not going to be happy with, no matter what.
Oh, I know.
And but AEW is trying to get all their young guys in and show what everybody has, where WWE is still sticking with two, three different storylines, and it's over.
Goldberg at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Or again, everybody hates John Cena pushing his way into SummerSlam versus Roman Reigns, where I think there are other people on the roster that deserve it because I like John Cena coming back. I love John Cena, but as a part-time wrestler, he shouldn't be coming back to
Well,
go for that title.
it's very obvious why he's being brought back. I guess things are down. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's what you got to do.
while bringing in the live audience.
The live audience. And when you see Vince coming out and trying to get heat, or Triple H or Stephanie, something's up.
Yeah,
Got no heels.
yeah, yeah, and that thing that McMahon did didn't make much sense. Except he welcomed everybody back, but it wasn't
It was
typical.
weird, but I got mixed emotions on that one. Roman Reigns' work is came good. He's a good heel, good talker. I like that. But I'm a very big fan of all the Samoan wrestlers. I know all of
Yeah.
them, starting from Appa and Sika. True athletes, true competitors, true professionals. Some things I don't agree with, but everybody has demons or they make mistakes. Long as you
Yeah.
don't keep on making them.
Yeah,
And yeah, the Samoan people. I mean, the Barbarian and Jimmy Snuka and Coco Samoa and Siviapi and God, the whole Samoan, everything about them. They're great workers. They're good athletes. I think the smallest Samoan I've ever seen is 220 pounds.
really.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they're just incredible. Haku. I mean,
Yeah,
come on. These are, Fatu and Samu. I love Samu. He's a good guy. I just saw him in Pennsylvania last week, and he introduced me. I think it was Sika's son or something. I can't keep up. There's so many sons and brothers and
yeah,
stuff. They're really nice guys, really good guys, hard workers, and they're the type that they like you because you're like them, but they don't like gimmicks or divas or prima donnas.
Yeah. I can see that with them, especially with their shoot interviews and everything. They mention it. It's like I don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah, and you don't want to literally step on their toes inside the ring or outside because your toes will be gone.
Yeah, but they were all trained, like you were, all trained old school. Like you were trained by the Malinkos, which is total old
The
school
best. Malenko's
compared
are the
to
best.
with them to. Was Boris just as rough as Stu Hart? Like putting you
No,
in the holds and stuff?
I don't think so. No, he would show things. No, no. If you didn't pay attention, he may cinch up. I remember I didn't sell an arm bar one time with Carl Gotch. He tweaked me enough. I was sore for a week, and that was lightly. If he went full blown, my arm would have been broken.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And then I've been out there with Jody. He could work snug. He's an ultimate. I mean, this dude, remember now, the Malenkos in Japan were called the super shooters.
Yeah. I heard
That's
about
for
that.
real. These
Yeah.
guys could go. I mean, Jody Malenko is a submission artist and enjoys it.
Yeah.
And I have so much respect for him. These are my mentors. I really wish Boris Malenko was alive, to see my career and how it progressed. And I wasn't around when he passed. I was traveling, and it's a shame because I have so much respect for him and a man called Lenny Greenberg, which is an entrepreneur I met in Florida through
Yeah.
a friend through a friend introduced me to this gentleman. He's a millionaire and he had nothing to do with wrestling, but he had connections with business people.
Hmm.
All he had to do was ask around, and he got me the interview with Malenko. So I never forget his family. I don't forget him. He passed away. I mean,
Yeah.
that's in the pecking order is Lenny Greenberg and Malenko. And so how's it be? What's funny, ironic about this statement and conversation is all three of us are Jewish. Yay.
There you go. So there's Dean Malenko saying he's the man of 1,001 holds or whatever. That's true then.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yep.
See, I miss watching him as well because I loved watching all those guys. Even Chris Benoit. I love Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of what happened. I don't care because
Yeah. I
again,
have
I wasn't
no
there.
comment on that one at all.
No.
I wrestled him once, and It was an okay match. I didn't like talking to him in the back. He's
Oh,
a little
really?
too much introvert for me, and I'm not in his clique. Even though he was friends with Malenko and knows I was trained by them and friends with Owen Hart, I think there was a lack of respect for me,
Uh,
which I
trying
didn't
to
appreciate.
trying to be the best.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess that's the problem backstage. You're always trying to be the best.
Well, I think Chris's problem was trying to be like Dynamite Kid too much.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see that even on the TV. He was too much like, way too much like
Be
him.
yourself. Be yourself. It's like people patting themselves on the back. When they see that, they think of me. You're a wannabe. You're a jabron.
Yeah.
You're a follower. Don't be a follower. Be a leader.
Yeah. Well, he could have done without the flying headbutt and kept with the hold that he put on and the crippler crossface.
He almost did. He almost did everything like Dynamite. He was even built like him.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to do.
I don't get it.
What's your opinion on Owen?
Owen Hart. Oh my God. What is my opinion? In my eyes, this is my opinion. Nothing against. I mean, I've met all the Hart brothers. I wrestled them in the main event at a Survivor Series in Boston Gardens as the Red Knight, which
Yeah,
everybody knows, and Brett and everybody. But I think Owen was the best. He could do amateur. He could do the ha ha and gaga. He
yeah,
could do the blue blazer. He could do the promos. He was an excellent heel, which was hidden. I had Owen's first match in the States. Me and Chief Jay Strongbow picked him up at the airport in Bristol, Tennessee, We
Yeah.
wrestled Viking Hall that night, Monday Night Raw. They
Wow.
put him under a hood. They didn't want him to know it was Brett's brother.
Huh.
And that was pulling teeth because, Owen came from Calgary. He was young. He was
Yeah.
being pushed. He was spoiled. And he thinks he's just going to push me around. Well, after he got to know me, the respect factor kicked in. I've wrestled Owen Hart more than, according to people I was told, I've wrestled Owen Hart more than anybody. I've wrestled every gimmick he did.
Yeah.
Think about it. King of the Ring, the thing he did with Coco, the Hart Foundation, the Blue Blazer 1 and 2, everything. But
Yeah.
people don't know, even those guys that run that show, Dark Side of the Ring, doing a
Yeah.
special on, I was there first. I picked Owen up. Me and Chief picked him up, and I was introduced to him first. That was his
Wow.
first match, was with me. A lot of people don't know that, and I'm not trying to blow my horn or put myself over because nobody else will, so I have to do it myself. But and Brett knows this. They all know that, and I'm a very big fan of Stu Hart, the whole Hart family. I
Yeah.
like the way he conducted business. I mean, he stretched people and stuff, but you learn to be a good worker and you paid your dues.
Yeah. That's the way they
So
look at
what's
it.
wrong with that? What's wrong with that? He's not killing you. He's not
Nope.
asking you to do anything illegal or sexual favors or drugs. He's teaching you how to be a great professional wrestler.
Yeah. Speaking of them, we were talking about you wrestling in Canada. Is there a big difference in the Canadian style with the States, or is it just basically North American?
I think it's the same, but the Canadians, they love good wrestling. So does
Yeah.
Japan. So does Tokyo. And
Yeah.
now finally the USA has caught up. They got smart, but really first and foremost was Japan and Canada appreciating the art of wrestling and pro wrestling.
Yeah. Well, we had the Stampede Wrestling, which again was Stu, and a lot of them wrestled in Japan, going back
Sure.
and forth. And then even out here in Vancouver, we had people like Andre the Giant, Honky Tonk Man, I believe
Bad News
Hulk
Brown.
Hogan. Yeah, Bad News Brown, which was one of my favorites as well.
Hey,
Um,
there's another shooter. If I'm not mistaken, took a bronze medal in the Olympics for judo.
did he?
As far as I know, you can look that up.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to.
So did Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I heard about Ronda Rousey. What did you think about her joining wrestling?
I think it's pretty cool. She
Yeah,
did everything else. Why not? Make a few mil.
yeah, I think she was pretty good. She did a pretty good job. And
Yep.
as a heel, she was awesome as a heel. Everybody hated her.
Yep. Good athlete. Was a, made a, she's a Hall of Famer. She's a Hall of Famer in the UFC.
Yeah,
And she's still young. I think she adapted. Anybody, this is again my opinion, and I bring it up almost every podcast and interview, but anybody that's come from the amateurs, Brock Lesnar, NCAA champion, but when you're an Olympic gold medalist and you win that title with a broken neck,
yeah,
Kurt Angle is the friggin' man.
I agree.
Now, how many amateurs look like him, talk like him, and adapt to pro wrestling in 1 year? Nobody
Yeah,
but him. If I was Vince, I would have him around forever.
I
I would
agree.
have him at the meet and greets. He's a good spokesman. He's beat demons. He looks good.
Yeah,
He could teach. He could help out. He could help out with storylines. He could help out in the back. I mean, you've given other people jobs that were less. I mean, come on now. You've got a friggin' pot of gold that you're not looking at.
yep. Well, that's the whole thing. He's been releasing a lot of a lot of the ones that brought him money. He's released so far
I don't
too.
know. I don't know if it's him no more releasing it. Now, granted, he always calls the shots. He's the big billionaire, but I've heard other things that maybe there's a different chop man.
Triple H.
No, I
Oh,
don't know. No, I mean
oh,
a person
somebody.
that's
on the
that's going to
board
save
sort
you
of thing.
money, and this is what we do. Well, this guy's making 3 million a year. We could pay this guy 1 million. Let's get rid of him. I don't know. I don't know the politics of the war room or the powers to be. I don't know
Yeah.
how. I could speculate, but I don't know,
Well, that's
and
what
I
I
don't want to
keep
go
saying.
there if I don't know.
That's what I keep saying. I've been kicked out of wrestling groups because I keep saying the same thing. I'm not in that meeting room. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if, like Bray Wyatt, apparently he has some mental issues going on,
Oh,
and
really?
there's also saying that there was budget cuts why he's gone, but we don't know if he asked for the release himself, right?
You know,
Like all we know is he's been released. That's all that's been said.
I thought it was released and brought back.
I don't know if he's been brought back yet or not.
No, not yet. I thought he was released months ago, and they brought him back, just like they released Samoan Joe and brought him back.
He was gone for quite a while. They keep doing that with him. They keep sending him away for months and then bring him back to do stupid things.
Doesn't matter. Just save your money.
Yeah,
Hey, if you're a girl wrestler, especially, and you look good, you're mediocre, you're not Charlotte Flair, you're in the middle. Hey, save your money, stay there for 4 or 5 years, you're retired, you're
yeah.
done. Unless you followed and you blew all your money, well, you're the dumbass. Go back to the Indies or McDonald's and ask if they want fries with that small Coke.
So, getting back into your career, so it hasn't been much of your career, but um, I wanted to go on about when you came back in 1995, or I think it was 95. We can't always believe the internet.
Yeah, no, that was my. No, I was there before then. I was at the Survivor Series was '93. I was in the main event. So it was before that. I came back about. Let's see. I was working WCW and Global
Yeah,
and Vince, and then I think I signed a contract in '94, '95, so I couldn't go nowhere else.
yeah.
So they finally smartened up. Huh.
Yeah, they let you win some matches.
Yeah, well, I won more matches, just people didn't know about it.
Yeah, I was gonna actually say something that they gave you credit for that one match, saying that with Skip, saying that that was your very first match won, but you had plenty that I found online.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Just that's wrestling for you.
So that's not in that they wouldn't have those wins in the history, or like they just
What's
wipe them
that?
out. They just wipe them out of history or something. What did they do with that? Like,
Oh, I
that's,
don't know. I don't know. I really don't know any of that. Maybe we should call up Vince Russo and ask him or Eric Bischoff. Maybe
well,
they got a clue.
actually, I'm trying to get uh, a chat with Vince Russo.
Why? Oh, I
Entertainment.
know why. Wait a minute, Sean. I know why. You want to know why he put the world title on David Arquette? Hmm.
Yeah, that's one reason. Why did he bring out Hulk Hogan's real story out?
Hey,
Uh,
Vince, go back to writing for the magazine as Vic Venom.
A lot of people don't like him. I can take it.
Yeah, boy.
He takes the credit for DX, but
Oh, I'm sure he
Shawn
does.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H are the ones that keep saying that it was the Click. They
I
were
believe
all
that.
they
I
were
believe that.
already, yeah, because they were already DX because they were the Click, and they
I
just said
believe that.
to Vince, "Can we bring this out?" But how did it feel to beat Skip?
Oh, I mean, again, it was I was humble. I didn't take it for granted. I was happy. And here's a prime example of working with Skip. We got the match over. No
Yeah,
egos. Nobody got hurt. We had fun. I really liked working with Skip a lot. I knew, like if I knew I was booked with him uh, the whole week or something, and I'm in Toronto, I'm in the Maple Leaf Gardens, or I'm at the Montreal Forum, or I'm in Saskatoon, or I'm in Timmins, where Shania Twain is from.
yeah.
Uh, I would know that I'm going to have a great match. I wouldn't worry about nothing. He's going to be on time.
Yeah.
He's gonna look the part. He's going to do everything. He's not going to complain, even if he's hurt. He wouldn't. And I was the same way with him. I have so much respect for him. People like him, I respect.
Yeah.
People not like him, or not like Owen, or not like Reno Riggins, or Brady Boone, or Brad Armstrong, or Tommy Wildfire Rich, or Tom Zink, any of these guys, and they're the opposite of Brian Pillman, I don't like.
Yeah. Well,
Especially if you treat me shitty.
you mentioned Brian Pillman. What did you think of him?
I like Brian.
Yeah.
What I liked about Brian, good looking guy, well built. I liked him. I had good matches with him. He's always treated me with respect. And he's the first that I know of that leaped on the top rope and did the flying clothesline.
Really?
Oh yeah, as far as I know, he's the first. Maybe some guys in Japan, but I will say one thing: not knocking Brian at all, because I have the utmost respect for his ability and his wrestling. And I think he played for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I heard about that.
AJ Styles, when he vaults up to that middle rope and the flying forearm,
Yeah.
I've never seen that much height, and it looks like a shoot. And AJ Styles, good worker.
Yeah, I like him.
Good heel. He changed his persona. He changed everything from TNA, and good for him. He deserves it. I've only met him one time. It was in an indie show in Georgia over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably was first starting, but his work's improved. He could probably retire there. I mean, he's really did a 360 from his other side of the short hair to no beard.
Yeah.
He's bigger. He's training. So good for him. Bravo.
More mature.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool watching him grow up throughout the years from TNA.
I heard he's a unbelievable video game player too. Seriously.
Yeah, I heard that too. But
hey, how about Barry Horowitz on Madden? I'm good too. That's right.
What was it like to work with Hakushi?
Again, same thing, same exact thing as what I told you about all my favorites to work with. A true pro, broken in Japan, Tokyo. Just a pleasure to travel with, to eat with, to work against. He was flawless. He was great. I loved him.
Yeah, I loved watching him against Bret Hart. All those
good work.
The rivalry was
great
really
gimmick with the tattoos. I loved it.
Yeah, but I love watching you guys work together. Coming in, what was with the suspenders?
Just thought of something different. Yeah. That's all it was, and that was it. I said, hey, let me just something different.
But the game,
I don't even know where I got it from. I didn't steal it from nobody. Who knows? Maybe I saw some country music singer with suspenders. I don't know.
Yeah, because you had the glasses and the
that was all the office idea. That was not my idea. I didn't care for that. But once again, I'm sure the Red Rooster didn't care for his gimmick as a rib.
Yeah, having to wear that thing on his head, that would have been a little uncomfortable.
I don't think the one-man gang cared about being Akeem either.
Yeah, he did. He said in other videos he didn't like that. It was too
Why
much.
would you do that? The one-man gang, the big 747. You killed his friggin' gimmick. That's what you did.
Yeah, you killed his career and everything, I think.
He's a great guy, too.
But it goes back to fantasy world. I think McMahon's got this little fantasy world going on in his head. And
hey, no problem. Do whatever you want with me. Just pay me. That's
yeah.
all you got to do. And I'll save it, and I'll be gone.
You guys tell a good story.
Oh, yeah.
That's what matters, right?
Yep.
Keep me going. Okay, so before we close this up, is there anything that you would like to say to my viewers, your viewers?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank you for this interview. You're an utmost professional. Your interviews are spot on. So thank you for doing this. I really enjoyed it. Plus, I'm pro Canada.
Yeah.
Shania Twain, you got Bret Hart, you got Stu Hart, and most important, Tim Hortons.
Yep. Can't forget the coffee.
Yeah. Plus your hockey and just everything about the area. It's so clean there, and the restaurants and the health food stores. The gyms are phenomenal. So I gotta thank you for that. I gotta thank my fans for really supporting me. And I know it's cliche and probably trite, but I really mean that. And now with Barry Horowitz is I train 6 days a week, and I'm pursuing a coaching job. I am doing a lot of meet and greets. I do a lot of interviews, podcasts. My merch is doing well because they're making more shirts of me at prowrestlingtees.com. Cameo is off the charts. I'm doing so well with them. Facebook, YouTube, and I am having in the next year 2 action figures will be made and licensed. Oh yeah, especially one of them will be the duplicate of the 90s.
Oh, nice.
I've signed a contract with Zombie Sailor. So did with Dino Bravo, the Rock and Roll Express, and a plethora of other wrestlers. But this is really cool. This is called the Pint Size Barry Horowitz. And it's really cool if the fans could see it. I'm trying to get it in there. They're called Pint Size by Wrestling Loot. They're based out of California. And this is my newest merch item. It also on the back has a little history of me, very short, about Malenko and where I went. And they're really cool. They're easy to pack. You sign an autograph there. You could take them out. They're hard as a rock. Like they're not spongy or, like a cheap toy or something like that.
Yeah.
So, we're doing that. And then my next project is the Wrestling Buddy. He's going to be about 22 inches, 15 inches wide. He's going to have the blue trunks with the Star of David, and he will have the famous black jacket on with the hand on the back. They're called plushies or wrestling buddies. They're about like that, like a big stuffed, doll. And that will be coming out pretty soon too. Otherwise, my 8x10s have been doing well. The new pictures and updated ones, and my Facebook, and that's what I've been doing. And just my main thing before I retire or get away from the wrestling business is to coach, a top-notch company. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the NWA. I don't think they work enough, and Impact doesn't know how to return a phone call. So, yeah, that's funny because I know Scott D'Amore very well. I heard he was in charge. I worked for him in Canada. I did this and did that, but the man can't. He must be busier than the president or a brain surgeon, because I can't see somebody can't return a call, even voicemail, for 10 seconds. But that's enough of putting him over. So, All Elite, and what's funny about the Performance Center, Sean, is it's an hour from my house. We don't want to do that. That would make too much sense to bring Barry in once or twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So I must have some kind of heat I don't know about. Like Jim Cornette said on his podcast, and believe me, I'm not trying to get myself over. I mean this in a shoot way. I guess somebody wrote him in and asked about me. And basically, Jim was in the office and so forth. This was about 6 months ago. And he says, the bottom line with Barry Horowitz, maybe he was just too good. He didn't fail drug tests. He showed up on time. They needed a guy like that. So he got picked for that. You can't have 10 of me. You can't. No. It won't work. It won't work. So they picked this one. And if that's my, know your role, if that was it, fine. I mean, I was at the Slammies Awards. I was up for an award. I've been at WrestleManias. I did the celebrity softball game in Anaheim. I've been in main events. I went for the Intercontinental title on TV in California. I mean, I've did different things. And of course I did other things in other organizations where I did have belts, and defeated Mike Graham in his hometown for the Florida heavyweight title. I mean, that's huge. Yeah. Back then, championship wrestling with Gordon Soley. So I'm not asking much. I just want to be a coach, and I just love what I have to offer, just to maybe help somebody out.
Yeah.
Pick these, there's a difference when you fine tune a match or somebody yourself, or tell this, it goes from a good match to a great match, a good worker to a great worker. And you know what? If I'm picking my dream, I want to have a great match, and I want to be a great worker.
Yeah.
And there is supposed to be a lot of great wrestlers out there, I think. But you know what? They're all great wrestlers. They can be. But guess what? Barry Horowitz friggin' wrestles great.
Well, there you go. You deserve to give yourself a pat on the back.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
I wish I
Now
was
I'm getting
there.
sore. My shoulders and delts are getting tight and sore. Too much padding.
All that workout. See, look at
Yes,
that.
I gotta have a good meal and gotta recover and get back in there tomorrow. You know, it's no rest for the wicked.
Yeah. Well, I wish I was there to pat you on the back and shake your hand. Um, I can't say it on behalf of every fan out there, but of your fans, myself, I really thank you for all that you've done for your entertainment, for
Oh, thank you.
this. Like, you're a very entertaining person.
I I appreciate that. I got to squeeze something in that's really cool. Somebody sent this to my email, Sean. You need to look at this. It's so cool. This guy has got a clue. I don't know who he is. He goes by the Pizza Man, and he did this video on me on YouTube, and it's
Yeah.
called Barry Horowitz, the Unsung Hero. And let me tell you something. I watched it. It's 12 minutes. Between what he put together visually, the footage, but what he had to say about me, I'm going, is this guy in my mind? Is how did he get this? I'm sure he got it from some interviews, but spot on. I was so impressed with that somebody finally got a clue and doesn't act like a mark
Yeah.
or thinks ignorant or stupid. You're
Yeah.
not really the world champion, okay?
Well, you guys, you, Mike Sharp, and all of them, you guys did more moves. You guys made these guys look big. I know it didn't take much to make some of them look big, but you guys worked your asses off to do so.
Sometimes you were in there for a reason. I had to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I go out there with Brett, it would just complement his match.
Yeah.
You go out there run into the ring with face paint, you got to work your ass off.
Well, again, to me, you're one of the best, especially
Thank
way
you.
back then.
I appreciate it, and I don't take that for granted. I'm humblified. I don't look at it like that. I just wanted to progress, and it's amazing. Like when I go to these indie shows or meet and greets, and I'll get these compliments, or it'll say, "I didn't know you did." I remember when going to indie shows just a few years ago when I was working, and I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know you could do. It was almost like I got to prove myself every time.
Yeah, I don't know why, because you got to see your skills in the ring against these big guys. That's the one thing that people put you guys down and say that J word, but if it wasn't for you guys, again, these guys wouldn't be making the big money.
No, they don't. They don't realize that either.
No.
Yeah.
So on behalf of the fans out there, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Sean.
Well, I really appreciate you being on here. You're helping me live my dream, talking to you. I've got your number, so I will. Hopefully, if okay with you, I'll call you once in a while, see how you're
Sure.
doing, and
No
all
problem.
that. So, to my fans, the fans of Barry Horowitz, I'd like to thank you for coming, watching the show, and always remember, I got you in the sight of my wild eye. Give yourself a pat on the back.